Today, we are going to talk about the #1 question that is asked on this channel. I see it in the search terms. You guys, I'm not blind to this. How do I get clients as a freelancer? So we are going to talk about it today because, not to brag, humble brag, I am pretty darn good at getting clients. But I had to refine this skill over time. And I also had to play sort of head games to get myself in a place where I got really good at getting clients. Today we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it, and I am gonna give you answers. Now, I do need to prepare you. When you hear some of these tips, you're going to just wanna turn off the video, put your head down, but I encourage you to listen intently. I encourage you to listen, and I am gonna try to frame these tips for you in a way that helps you see that you can be successful. You can absolutely be successful getting clients, and you can get so good getting clients that you become this magnet of clients. I promise you, again, if I can do it, anyone can do it, I promise. So here we go. All right, there will be times that you are actually going to question if you were better off staying at the abusive job that you left, okay? So let me repeat that again. There are going to be times that you are going to feel so down and so frustrated that you're not getting clients that you're gonna question whether or not you should have left the bad situation that you left. That is how hard it is. Point blank, that this is a hard skill to build. But once you do, and you only really have to master one of these, you are going to be set and you're going to be fine, and you're actually going to make more than you made at the job that you left. And I hope that you know that as well. Okay, now that we've said the say, I am going to use notes as always, because as I say, every time I get on here, I am incredibly awkward on camera and I have a hard time. I want in the future to be that person that just stares at the camera with this great advice and just goes on and on and on. But that is not me at this point. I always keep notes. I always do. You know, maybe at some point I'll have a teleprompter. I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there, right? Just like the sloth, we'll get there when we get there. All right, I have an outline. In fact, actually, it's a blog post, so I might be a little bit slow, but I want to make sure that I cover all this. The problem is whenever I do this via writing, I end up accidentally reading, and then I have to go in and find some, what do you call it? B-roll. Like, I have to find some B-roll, and it's just incredibly awful because I'm covering up the fact that I am literally blanking like this and looking at my notes. The first tip is that you are going to need to be remarkable. When I say remarkable, I do not mean the actual work that you do. Sad to say, you yourself need to become remarkable. Now, the good news there is you only actually need to be seen as remarkable to 1 to 4 potential clients, because if you are following a retainer model and you are getting paid what you're worth and actual rates that freelancers get, you're only going to need in between 1 and 4 clients to make what you made, if not double what you made at the job that you left. You need to be remarkable, but you only need to be seen as remarkable to 3 or 4 people. 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 3 to 4, a few people. It's not that hard. And so when you think about it like this, right? Like, I try to look at, my husband sees me as remarkable, obviously. My parents see me as remarkable, yes. Well, okay, they should. But my husband didn't have to see me as remarkable. He had plenty of other girls out there to see as remarkable. A lot of my friends see me as remarkable, which is why they choose to be my friends. So you already have people that you have attracted that consider you to be a remarkable person. You have that capability in you. It's just what's happening is when you're thinking about it from a client perspective, you're sort of clamming up and thinking, oh my gosh, what about this, what about that? But the fact of the matter is there are people in the world that see you as remarkable, and you just need to find those people, and you just need to let those people know that you are around and that you exist. Be remarkable, but know that you're remarkable means something to somebody. Hopefully that helps with this tip. The second tip is you have to know who your target audience is and your ideal client. And when I say you have to know your ideal client, now hopefully my phone won't turn off, because this is the time when I will go into a bit of a monologue where I do look and I don't look down at my notes. You need to know that client inside and out. You need to know their problems. You need to solve their problems. You need to know what it's like to be in their business. You really, really need to know this client. If this client were to need to vent, you want to be that person that this client can vent to. What are they struggling with? Well, the good news is I can tell you, most businesses are struggling to get more sales, some sales, right? So if you look at a business, whatever solution that you offer should help at the end them get more sales, more leads, more something. Or another thing is free up more time. You are doing whatever you're doing to save that person money or make them more money, right? Think about it from that perspective. It's all cash in, cash out. Are you gonna help them save money by offering some type of service? Maybe you're a virtual admin, or are you gonna help them make money? Maybe you're a graphic designer and those designs are gonna help package everything up and make it look better. Are you a marketer like myself? So you are going to attract more business and grow that business. Again, you have to look at it from this perspective. But you really do have to get to know that client and those clients' pain points and put it in their language, what's possible, right? Because unfortunately, certain businesses are only capable of making so much. Their competition is spread out in certain areas. There's gonna be all these nuances. And so you really, really need to know. For example, I think about something like a yoga studio or a fitness studio. No, I've never owned one, but I do know that they want to get more people in the door. And they have certain revenue goals, and they, if they are good, they are going to know exactly how many clients they need, exactly how many memberships. They're going to know a cost per membership. They're going to know a revenue per membership. They're going to know how many people can be in their classes. They're going to have all those numbers, and then that can feed your marketing or whatever you're doing. So you really, really need to get to know those businesses. They're also going to know how far their average customer drives, for example, what is even possible. And then that is going to help you hone in your marketing so you're not advertising to a radius that is 2 hours away, right? They're going to know these things. They're going to know their competition. Again, get to know that client really, really well and then solve their problems for them. The second thing about getting to know your client, this is going to require that you get out of the house, that you get out and about and you start talking to people. Sometimes when it's easier to do than think, get a client, make your goal to get to know the client, not even to, what's the right way to put it, sell to the client, because you really should not be selling in your first interaction with anyone, but make your mission to get to know these people and to put yourself in proximity with the people that you consider your ideal client. Again, I keep using yoga studios example because for me, I love yoga. I love going to studios. While that's not my ideal client, if I decided that I wanted to target yoga studios, I would start actually going to the yoga studio, which I already do, but you know, hey, maybe that's why it's top of mind. You get my drift. Put yourself in a position so that you are interacting with your ideal client on a daily basis. Suppose, okay, real world example. Web design firms tend to be a great client for me because what happens is a web design firm gets clients who pay money to build websites. After they build those websites, guess what those websites need? Paid search, marketing. That is a great client for me. Where am I going to meet other people that own web design firms? Guess what? I'm going to meet them at tech meetings. I'm going to meet them with tech content. I'm going to meet them at different web developing conferences. There's different places that you can go to meet your client. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, you catch my drift. So sounds like I'm gonna be attending a lot of, I don't know, tech conferences in Columbus this year. There we go. All right, now that we're onto that, you are going to need, once you've gotten to know your client, once you've gotten out and about, you are going to need to build trust with these people. And I went back and I said, when I talked about getting to know your client, you don't want to sell right away. Build trust, give them things for free, give them tips, become their trusted advisor. Become that person that they go to when they need help solving an issue. And do that in a friendship type manner. Do that in an authentic type manner. Give that value. Do that through a blog post. Do that through YouTube, like what I'm doing. Do that through a podcast. Have some way that you give back to your audience. And the best way to practice that is exactly what I said. Get out of your house and give one-to-one advice. Become a friend. Become somebody that genuinely cares about your target audience. And then what's going to happen is these leads are going to start flowing in. This business is going to start coming. And again, keep in mind you only need 3 or 4. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know, if I think about all the friends that I have, like close friends, I probably have 10 or 15 people that I would consider to be my closer friends, right? Close friends that I can call and that I can talk to. And so it is completely reasonable that in your professional network that you have 10 or 15 people that they can call you for business advice, to ask you questions, just to bounce things off of you. They're like, hey, shoot, I have a marketing question. Who am I gonna call? Oh my gosh, I don't know if my paid campaigns are working. Who am I gonna call? You want to be that person. Again, building that trust before you even sell, and you're like, hey man, you know, you keep asking me all these questions about your campaigns. Why don't I run them for you? Right? Like, don't start there. Do not be that person. All right, so we've talked about that. We've talked about sharing valuable content. In addition to building that trust, you're going to need to put value out there. It kind of goes hand in hand with the trust, and all of these go hand in hand with the trust. But when you are writing blog posts, or you're making videos, or you're making anything that you're putting out there, what you need to ask yourself, the very, very first question is this helpful? Is this going to help someone? For example, this video, all about getting clients. It is going to help somebody that's struggling to get clients. I know it's going to help somebody because I watched a lot of videos like this, and this helped me start to get clients. Know what your audience is, know what they want, and be helpful and offer helpful tips. And I think there's a book. I think a lot of talked about it, which is Steal Like an Artist. Steal Like an Artist. So basically what you can do is you can mimic other people. So watch their videos and ask yourself, what are they saying that is helping me? And then based on what they're saying, you take your knowledge and you help other people. And that is why it's called Steal Like an Artist. You're not directly stealing. You're not taking my tips. You're not taking someone else's tips. You're taking the fact that they're offering tips and a framework that gets you to watch. And then what you do is then you apply your knowledge to those tips. If you're a writer, for example, you're going to go out, and what you're going to do is you're going to talk to your ideal client about something that they care about, but you're going to apply what you know about writing to that. Hopefully we're making sense. I hope we're making sense. It makes sense to me, but I also do this for a living. So there you freaking go. All right. Okay. This one's good. Get permission before you start selling to someone. Please, please, please. Since becoming a business owner, every single day, there is something in my inbox. There it is, and I can read it. Oh my gosh, I love your website. It sounds like you might be, a great candidate for some SEO services. I'm like, my gosh, you don't even know me. You don't know me. You don't know that I do paid search. It's insulting. And when I get something like that, I think I am never going to work with that person. I'm sorry, but I am never going to work with you if you land in my inbox like that. Now, okay, how would I find somebody? If I needed SEO services, how would I find them? First place I would look is LinkedIn. Second place I would do is I would ask some of my friends, hey, I'm thinking about getting some SEO help. Is there anyone you know? And then I would start talking to them, and I would kind of figure out, do we jive? How does this work? What is their style? I would get to know them and take my time before they just jumped in and started selling to me. And I think that is something that you really, really have to consider when you're starting your own business, is you need to just be there and be aware and be okay, and don't just start selling to people without asking their permission. So how do you do that? How do you do that if you have a target, right? So let's suppose that I want to sell to my friend Jane. Jane's over here. Now I know I want to sell to her, but at the same time, I know that I can't just dive in because I care about the relationship. Exactly that. You're gonna just get to know them as a person first. You're gonna send a message and be like, hey, I see that you went to Ohio State. I went to Ohio State too. I did not. I actually went to Bowling Green. How about this? I see that you went to Ohio State. I went to Bowling Green, but I thought about going to Ohio State. Did you ever get lost on that campus? Did it take you 25 minutes to get to any of those classes? Yeah, okay, like that's great. And so you just talk to that person, and then now you've had an interaction. You don't come back right away 2 seconds later and then start selling to them, and you have that thing. Now, then you're gonna see them on LinkedIn. And I use LinkedIn as an example because that for me is one of those places where I feel like it is easier to build those professional connections. And then when she posts, you're gonna read her actual blog post and you're gonna say, hey Jane, that was really good. And then give some feedback, give something like, that was really good. I liked how you say this. That's it. Like, that is it. Oh, like you're not doing anything. You're supporting her by reading her content, and that's it. And then, a couple weeks later, don't be that creepy person that sells them the comments. Later on, when she posts something, be like, oh my gosh, I wrote something about this too, like blah, blah, blah. Like engage with these people, engage, they're humans. And then later on in a year or so, when Jane is looking for a marketing person, you're gonna be that one that was like always in their comments, always supporting them, always being there. So again, you're sort of getting that relationship first and that relationship-driven approach to your sales contacts. Again, build that relationship. Do not just start selling. You get that permission, and that permission can be in the form of a friendship and a relationship, backward, forward, mutual, right? Like anything else. It is a relationship, not I'm going to badger you with my paid search services. So we've covered that. The other thing that you need to do with all of this is embrace failure, because the reality is, we all get a little desperate, right? We all get a little desperate. We all come across a little too strong at times, and we all have people that just don't want our services. I have a friend, and I think this one is I want to say like the hardest for me because I love it and hate it at the same time. I get a lot of people just asking me questions all day long, right? Like, people text me and be like, oh my gosh, I'm having this paid search problem. Can you help me with my campaigns? Or how do you handle this? Or how do you handle that? And finally, I said to one of the people who's been constantly in my texts, like, hey, is your company interested in hiring someone to help teach your team? Immediately it shut down the questions. And so, maybe I came on too strong because, again, I don't mind answering those questions. But at a certain point, I needed to let that person know that this is how I get paid. You're going to be failing at times. That's normal, but it happens. It's okay. Should I have handled it that way? I don't know. Maybe not. At the same time, I'm not spending the half hour answering questions all day. But, I turned it into a sales real quick, maybe too soon. Talked about failure, talked about everything. All right, so now we're gonna talk about just some other tips. And a lot of the tips that I have right here are just going to be very, very, very mindset related, because sales is a mindset. And the reason that I say that is because nobody likes desperate energy. Like, no client is gonna come to you if you're chasing them and you're like, hey, I'm gonna, drive an hour to see you, to convince you. Like, it is just not attractive to clients to have somebody just absolutely chasing. Now, some clients like that. Some people want to be chased. That is not the type of client that I want to attract. Just be very careful when you find yourself in that desperate energy to not put forth something that you don't want to get back, because how you are at the beginning sets the tone for what is to come. Energy is part of this. Here are some other tips. And these sound really cliche, which is why I'm going to try to elaborate on them with sort of some validation to help you when you're in your mission to get clients. The first one is going to sound, again, cliche, and that is to believe in yourself. And what I mean with that is you have the power to attract clients. You do. And I know when you're in that spot where you're like, I just want clients, you don't believe in yourself. But I am telling you, you have the capability inside you to get clients. You just need to really know it, and really know it on the inside. And when you really know it, it's going to help you not portray that desperation and that energy that really can be unattractive to potential clients. Also, visualize your success. Think about what your life is going to look like as you get clients and as you become successful, because a lot of times what happens, and it's the old saying, you get what you wish for. You can sit there and think like, oh my gosh, I want, 5 clients is going to be great. But you know what? Your life is going to be really, really busy with 5 clients. It's going to be really busy, and you need to know that. And I think what you need to do is you need to outline what you want and then visualize it, and then think about the pros, the cons, how you're going to feel, how you're not going to feel when, not if, when it comes to fruition. Spend some time doing that and think about how you're going to feel, and then remind yourself not only how are you going to feel, but does this align with what I truly, truly want? Because for me, when I started building my business, I started doing that to be less busy, to have more time with my family, to be working out and taking care of myself more, not less. In my mind, I don't put 5 clients up on a pedestal by any stretch of the imagination. Now, would it be nice to have 5 clients? Yes, for a short period of time. Not all the time. I think that would be great, but maybe not right now. But that articulation of that, I know because I've spent time imagining and visualizing and aligning myself with what I really, truly want. Also, taking action. Now that you've visualized, now that you have really started to believe in yourself, you're going to need to take steps towards your action. And I had just mentioned I don't chase, but I do put myself out there. For example, tomorrow morning, I am going to a networking event in my town with other business owners. I am going to put myself out there. Now, am I going to go in there and be like, hey, I'm a PPC manager, like can't wait to manage your campaigns? No. All I'm doing is going there to meet a couple people. That's it. Just like if I were meeting a new friend or going to a mom group, you just go with the intent to just meet some people. That's it. Now, the nice part is about business networking events, people tend to kind of know that you're there for not being like mom friends. They will ask what you do. Like that is part of business networking, but everybody goes in there with that intent, and you plant seeds and you start to move in that direction. And that is very, very, very helpful towards your end goal of getting those clients. Also, surround yourself around positivity. You know, I think one of the challenges when you do start your own business is there are going to be a lot of people thinking that you are going to fail. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to say things like, wow, ballsy, good luck, have fun with that, you know, you'll find your way. And they may not think that you are going to be successful, but that is just them projecting that onto you. And you do not need those people in your life. You do not need that negativity in your life. You hear me? No. Gone. Done. Surround yourself with people that actually believe in you, that tell you things that are positive. For example, I talk about my salesperson who point blank told me, all you have to do is talk about paid search and we already know you're an expert. You just have to talk. Just be there, just talk. She believes in me. My parents, they believe in me. And you know what? You might think like they're your parents, they should believe in you. My parents don't always believe in me. I'm not gonna tell you that they always believe in me. My husband believes in me. If he didn't believe in me, he wouldn't have let me do this. Like, you need to surround yourself with those types of people. Super important, especially when you start your own thing and you are in this new venture of building your business and creating this life that you want. Also, practice gratitude. And I think this is very, very important. In fact, this is probably one of the most important things. Be grateful for where you are at any given time and what you have. And I think about that all the time. You know, I think about it when it comes to my blog. So right now, I don't know if anyone follows me and my foot is falling asleep again. Sorry. All right. I don't know if anyone follows me on my other channels, on TikTok. That's probably the only other place because I try to keep my TikTok light and fun with a little bit of marketing in there. My website is not being crawled by the search engines. It's super annoying. And I kind of just want to throw my computer out the window because my other sites that I don't actually care to do SEO in are being crawled. But the reality is I'm just sort of like, it's my time to write. Like, I'm not the best speller. I'm very unpracticed at writing in this method. So it's okay. It's okay. That's where I am. You know, and actually what's funny is part of why it may not be being crawled is because when I first shut down this website that I'm working on, mysarahsteeman.com, I wanted it to go away. I think I had made it, I'm trying to remember in my head where my head was at the time, but I think mysarahsteeman.com was my mom blog, and I think I had been doing something professionally, and I was like, I don't want my mom blog out there. I don't want my blog out there talking about my laundry. I didn't want it to represent me. And so I think I put in a bunch of stuff so that it would stop being crawled, because it was being crawled a ton. So I don't know. I can't remember. But the reality is it's not being crawled. It's annoying. I think the last time my homepage was crawled was like November something, or not November, I'm sorry. It was early October, and I've had like 2 weeks of blogging since then, and I'm like, whatever. Anyway, my whole point is be grateful, be grateful. So for me, every view that I get on a YouTube video, I'm grateful for, because it's someone who's clicked on my video, who's watching my face, who's frankly watching me at my best. And yeah, okay, I'm awkward on camera, so watching me at my best get better, maybe? I don't know, but they are clicking and they are watching me do something that is frankly intimidating and that people probably laugh at. So stay positive, be okay, be grateful for where you're at. And then also listen to your intuition. And I think that that's really important. I mean, when I was quitting my job, it was in my gut. Like, there was at a certain point, like, I just knew. I knew I was out of line and out of alignment with what I held true to be myself. So trust that intuition, because what is gonna happen is if you don't follow your intuition, it's gonna get louder and louder and louder and more loud until you can't but follow it, or until something happens where you're done. I just encourage you to follow that intuition, trust the process, and things will turn out okay. Like, in your heart, if you know things will be okay, they are going to be okay. I guess in conclusion, I just want to assure you, if you are watching to the end of this video, that you too can get clients. You can get clients. It is within you. And I think the best advice that I heard ever, and if you made it to the end, you get the luxury of hearing it, is if you are being paid to do something by an employer, like me, I was paid to do paid search, then what does that mean? That means somebody else will pay me too, and I am of value to that someone and that company and that B2B. I just have to put it out there. Does all make sense? Hopefully. All right, well, as always, you can choose to subscribe, not subscribe, or just watch my videos. I really don't care either way if you're not ready, but I am here as a freelancer to relate and help others who want to be freelance, who want to stop working in a job that they don't love, build themselves up and give themselves the life that they want. That is why I'm here. That is my why, to help you succeed when and if you decide to start your own business and make the jump into being a freelancer. All right, have a good day. Bye guys. Bye. Toodaloo. Bye guys. All right, now how do I get this to take a picture? How to get clients? Getting clients, it's hard.